Welcome back to FTW for the Win podcast, Season 2. This is the greatest video game podcast in the world. I hope everyone had a great Christmas and a good holiday break. And we are back with a vengeance. So, yeah, it's good to be back. It's good to be back. Did you guys have a good Christmas? Good New Year?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Super good.
Super good. You get everything on your list, John?
No. I had gravel on my list and I didn't get it.
Ooh. Yeah, tough break.
You weren't bad enough. Santa would have just brought you coal if you were just...
No, I forgot to put how much gravel I needed, and so nobody got it for me.
Ooh, yeah. Rookie mistake. Well, I got everything I wanted, and one of the things I had on my list was a flamethrower. Speaking of flamethrowers, today's episode is sponsored by none other than Super Scorcher. Superscorcher.com, home of the Super Scorcher, the best replica available of Elon Musk's infamous, sold-out, limited edition, not a flamethrower. Crafted using authentic components, this propane-powered beast shoots flames up to 6 feet. With limitless customization options available, your flamethrower can be as unique as you are. You can see I got mine in the background. We got an orange one that has our podcast logo on it. It's freaking sick. Pyromania meets playtime with Super Scorcher. Customize yours today and let the flames begin. So I got a flamethrower for Christmas, which I love, by the way. So shout outs to the pod sponsor. And go pick one up. Is there a discount code, Henry?
Yeah. Use Pyro10 and you can get 10% off.
10% off of a
Heck
Super
yeah.
Scorcher. They're so fun. We did creme brulee with it. I'm gonna burn my copy of Halo 5 with it later this month. So lots of uses. Practical, impractical.
Roasted chestnuts. I did that with Toby and Allison.
Yeah, for winter. Perfect.
Yep.
Perfect. Well, lots happening. We've been on a couple week break. Video game world keeps on moving, and probably the biggest story and one of the coolest stories of this past month was 13-year-old Willis Blue Scuti Gibson is the first person on record in 34 years to do the impossible and beat Tetris. Level 157, he hit the final kill screen and crashed the game. I think he's in 7th grade or something like that.
Yeah.
Incredible feat. Incredible. Henry, for those at home who don't fully understand what this means and how this is possible, can you give us just a brief rundown? I know there's a long history and a lot to it, but can you give us a brief rundown on why this is so significant?
Yeah, sure. So, I've seen a lot of people say, "Well, I beat Tetris before," and it's there's a difference between beating Tetris. There is an end screen, then there's a kill screen, and the kill screen is when the game cannot do any more. It's basically a rollover as far as the code goes, and you're done. And that's considered the end for a lot of games that loop indefinitely, like Pac-Man, Space Invaders, and Tetris. And he is the first person to have done it. It was previously thought to only be able to be achieved with tool-assisted techniques. And now other people have been able to do it in the time frame that since it happened.
That's crazy.
People have picked up on his techniques and been able to achieve the kill screen. And this is very specifically on the Nintendo NES version of it. Right. There's a different type of kill screen for the Game Boy version. There's a different kill screen for the Tengen NES version. And that's how it is. But this is the one that a lot of people know. This is the one that is played at a competitive level. So if someone's a Tetris world champion, this is the version of Tetris that they play, and he's the first to do it. Amazing feat.
Which is crazy. And of course, did you guys see the the boomer news anchor lady who roasted him? Did you see that, John?
Yeah, it was.
You're roasting a kid, dude.
She's roasting a kid, and the internet lit her up like way worse.
Yeah.
So
right, and the kid, he's gonna come out the other end so much better off because of it, like being insulted.
Like, here's the thing: how many people know his name now versus whoever that lady was?
Right.
He already has achieved more fame than she has, and she's on TV every freaking day. So. She's just mad that he's the news and she's just reporting it.
True.
I think they all are in that industry.
Yeah, that's true.
They all.
Well, I'm saying that's why she's just roasting it. Like,
It's one of like probably specifically the TV news anchor, like one of the worst celebrities to be. I think it's like. I mean, they made Anchorman like out of that whole industry because it's so ridiculous.
I don't know. Like, I think about Steve Poole a lot. The weatherman who recently passed away. That was our local weatherman. And like, Alice and I were watching some like old random VHS compilations, and like a clip of him was in. I was like, "That's Steve Poole." And she's like, "Who?" And I was like, "Oh, he's our
dude. Everyone knows Steve
guy.
Poole." Yeah.
And then we looked it up, and it was like literally like the day after he passed. I didn't even know it.
Dang.
We looked up. I'm like, "Oh,
I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know he passed away either." So one guy in all of news broadcasting.
Yeah.
No. There's others.
There's some wholesome, but then I think there's plenty also.
Especially if you go on like cable news, like everyone knows like Bill O'Reilly, if you want to call him a reporter, and like
right. I don't even know that they're even reporters.
The various talking heads. There's like Dan Rather. Everyone knows Dan Rather.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Walter Cronkite. Cronkite.
Who are these people?
They're news anchors, David. It's a tough industry, But there's ability to if you are great and not just good, great.
Gerald Ford dead today at the senseless age of 85.
Trisha Takanawa, of course, everyone knows.
Oh. What's the alien's name in Futurama who just reports the news next to the blonde chick? Yeah. Zerg. I don't know. I see John's got his Game Fuel into his 20th anniversary Xbox mug. That's good. You're dirtying a dish for no reason. Oh, is that what Dad got you for Christmas? Or did you just get it yourself?
No, I think my brother-in-law got it for me a year or two ago.
Nice. It's
got my gamer tag on it.
I know, that's sick. I also, this is actually kind of interesting. Mantic Games partners with 343 Industries to bring the Halo universe to tabletop, launching directly to retail in September 24. Halo fans can eagerly look forward to an amazing Spartan miniatures that bring Halo multiplayer battles to life in the expertly crafted team combat game experience for tabletop newcomers and veterans alike. This actually looks interesting. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, John. Mantic Games, they do the Warhammer. Is that right?
I think so. I'm not totally sure.
Okay.
I know they do something.
Workshop does Warhammer.
Yeah, Games Workshop.
Okay.
I'm not sure what else Mantic has done. I'm not super into the
tabletop.
It's Empire of Dust, Firefight.
If you like a game called Kings of War, that's one.
Basically, it looks like they know what they're doing. So
for
what I'm looking forward to is not so much playing the game, but like what are the minis going to look like?
Right.
And what kind? And is there enough to like do a Halo universe D&D campaign or something?
That's what I'm curious. Cool. Like, I wonder if it's a D&D type of game, or if it's going to be something like BattleTech or Warhammer.
Like the Warhammer stuff.
Like, because like Warhammer I can't play. Warhammer I cannot play because you got to get like measuring tapes out and crap. It's like really frustrating. Like,
someday we should try it.
I've just get a Warhammer set up.
I've never played either. Games. I like games like BattleTech a lot, which is what MechWarrior is part of. And
MechWarrior 2.
BattleTech was cool because it's like grid based, like hexagon grids for you to move your dudes around, your little army, and you verse each other. And then they did a tabletop version, which was that was just RPG because that was a tabletop game, and then they did an RPG. So BattleTech was the board game of sorts, tabletop game. MechWarrior was the RPG, and then you could actually combine the two, and you could do your role playing as a pilot while still commanding an army. And so that was really cool to do. And so I think that would be a really, really great thing if you could do combining both RPG elements and like tabletop strategy elements with Halo. You could not cosplay. You could, if you really want, you could cosplay, but you could like role play as a Spartan or like as a specific Spartan, like a commander, and like order troops around and stuff like that. That would be really cool. I couldn't find too much information on what type of tabletop game it's going to be because that's a very vague term. That's like saying there's a new Halo video game coming out, and
September 2024. So we're still a little ways out.
It's 9 months.
Yeah. So, anyways, cool. Something that's not cool is Twitch laying off 500 employees in the latest round of job cuts, which is 35% of its own workforce. The CEO, which is actually kind of crazy, their CEO, Dan Clancy, he just went live on Twitch and he talked about it, which I kind of respect, just going live and just being transparent about it. But one thing he said was, this will be a very hard day. Our service exists to empower communities, create together, blah, 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 vital role, fostering community, furthering that mission. But he just went on to talk about how Twitch is not profitable. Amazon's being very supportive of it and i.e. funding it, and they want it to work. But do you guys have any thoughts on this on Twitch? I heard a few interesting takes. It's always sad when people lose their jobs, but if you think about X, right? We've seen X, and there's more people. Like Elon fired like so many people, and the website's still up. Now, sure, there's some problems here or whatever, but the website is still running, and all those people are gone. And so I think with Twitch, it's like it was so bloated, and I don't know. I just feel like it's kind of part of what happens when you come out of COVID, and it doesn't take 1 million people to run a company that puts video onto a screen. I know I'm oversimplifying, but it's
1,000 people is it's 35%, 500 people is 35%. So we're dealing with just over 1,000 people. That's not a lot of people to begin with, in my opinion, for a business and a website that gets as much traffic as that. That's not a lot of people. 13. That's not like a quick mental math. That's like 1,200 people. That's not a lot. It's surprising to me to fire 500 people. And it's something we're seeing a lot in the games industry right now, in the tech industry, but specifically the gaming industry. I think this is a byproduct of that because this is a culmination of both of those things, right? to get rid of that many people. I don't know. Like, I couldn't find any specific reason why besides that it's just not profitable. Which is crazy to think about because like Twitch has been around for like over a decade at this point, and it's like if you haven't figured this out by now, like how to make money on it, like what do we mean by not profitable? Like not profitable enough, or is it like in the red every year?
Right. And I'm not a business major or anything by any means, but I struggle to understand in my brain, they had $2.8 billion in revenue in 2022. And it's like, none of that is profit. Like you guys are still losing money and you're doing $2.8 billion in revenue. Like what, where's the, so the costs to run Twitch are more than that.
And that's surprising to me too. Like that alone, because like they're owned by Amazon now, and AWS is like one of the biggest like hosting platforms in the entire internet now.
So I would think they're getting that for free or a super steep discount or something.
Well, at that point, does that count as loss? Exactly. Is that counting like the actual? Because even if they get it for free through Amazon
or cheap,
it takes money for Amazon to generate that much power that's needed to run whatever data centers and stuff that they're using. So does that becomes like a not necessarily a write-off, but that is a operating cost that they have to factor in. But like, yeah, if they made like what you said, $2.8 billion, like
in 2022.
$2.8 billion, the operating costs cannot be that much if we're like for hosting alone.
Well,
and let's say
it says they made $2.8 billion in revenue. Is what I'm looking at.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Revenue.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Not operating
revenue
costs.
Well, no, that's revenue is the overall amount of money they make. So then that's when you start subtracting the operating costs from.
Oh, right. And
so they made $2.8 billion. And so then whatever the operating costs for the servers, and then I don't know how often they're having to upgrade their hardware, and then their staffing. They have 1,300 employees. Let's say they are all paid a generous $150K, which is like relatively standard for someone that's like made their way up through the tech field. That's still like a drop. Like where's that money going to at that point, right?
Yeah.
So
it is interesting. It would be interesting to look at their books. Looking at it from a 30,000 feet in the air type of level, Amazon is worth $1.56 trillion as of like today. So there's not like I don't think they're too worried about Twitch, and Twitch holds a place in like culture that Amazon doesn't have. And I think big picture, with the Amazon Prime subs and like getting people into the Amazon ecosystem is more important and more profitable for them than just being like, we're gonna do
Amazon. I can see Amazon viewing it as like, an operating expense, essentially.
Exactly.
Which is something that we operate at a loss, as it's a lot to generate revenue in other factors. And if the revenue that Amazon makes through Twitch makes up for the fact of their operating income, operating costs, then it still is weird though. Like, is that even happening? I don't even know.
I don't know.
Or otherwise, they wouldn't be laying off people.
Well, they might see it. I also know they shut down Twitch in Korea, and so anyone who worked on that side obviously is going to get the axe. But I think there is a lot more at play that obviously we don't see. And Twitch is like Twitch is to Amazon what the $1.50 hot dog is to Costco. I think at this point there's some value in it that they probably see, It brings people in the doors. It gets them talking about Amazon. There's something going on there, because otherwise they would just cut it. They would just say, look, this is just losing money. But they can afford to fund this till the end of time with $1.56 trillion. I don't think they're worried about that. But it is interesting. And I'd be curious to see what happens if Twitch were to shut down. That would definitely shake things up. But they also are I feel like shooting themselves in the foot in a lot of ways with some of the stupid drama that happens over there. But it's not as bad as Kick. Kick has a lot of stupid stuff too. They have
I would just love to know what they're spending their money on. What are you guys spending your money on? $2.8 billion. Where is it going?
Because how many? What's the average? I don't know. Because Twitch will sign certain streamers, right, for X amount of dollars.
They're stopping that. They're not even doing that anymore.
Yeah, I think they kind of
they're phasing that out.
Okay, that makes sense because because then you just think about how much of that is content. This is it sounds like they got a lot of money, but then when you start doing all that, like I said, the quick math for I said they have 1,300 employees and $150,000 each. That's $200 million. Right there, just a year in so I don't know.
Yeah. We'll see.
I'm not a business guy.
Jack Black has joined the live-action Minecraft movie as part of the cast. He'll be starring alongside previous announced cast members like Jason Momoa from Aquaman, Game of Thrones, Danielle Brooks, The Color Purple, and Emma Myers. Wednesday. I wonder if it'll be good. The Mario movie surprised us. Video game movies have kind of been surprising us a little bit. I'm not even going to lie.
Video game movies have been half decent for a while, and they're getting good now. I think we kind of finally figured it out.
Yeah, and I like Jack Black.
So, was it on the show that we talked about, with the Super Mario movie, where I said that, when we tried in '93, we only had 4 games, so, there was nothing to build on top of, so fine, make it look like Blade Runner, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, and Minecraft has a gajillion, books. The lore on Minecraft is apparently deep for, what it is somehow.
I wouldn't know any of that.
I mean, I'd be down to see Jack Black fight the Elder Dragon. That'd be pretty cool.
I wonder who is he just going to be a pig? I could see it.
Yeah.
Just be a...
Well, it's live action, right?
That's going to be weird.
Is it? No.
I mean, that's what your headline says.
Wait, no, it is. You're right.
Is it live action, or is it when everyone started calling the stupid Lion King reboot live action? It's still computer animated.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Idiots.
It's a fake live action. I was standing behind a guy in Disneyland.
Oh.
What?
It's being directed by Jared Hess. He directed Napoleon Dynamite and Nacho Libre. That's awesome. Yeah, I haven't seen a movie of his since Nacho Libre.
Crazy. Oh, I might have to go see it.
Okay, so is it going to be live action in the way that technically the Lego movie is live action? Because
that would be sick. Ferrell. That's how they should do it. Is the live action realistic Lego look, But it's at the end there's a real person.
Yeah, they have. Yeah. It starts out with them in person, and then but then when it gets to the movie's really starting, not just the setup, it's voxels, and then it kind of ends in live action.
Dude, I was standing up behind a guy at Disneyland, and he was talking to this kid, and the kid was talking to him about Minecraft, and he was mind you, this guy was 6 feet tall, full beard, 250 pounds, and he's like, I was playing Minecraft when it first came out. I remember going to GameStop and getting it 20 years ago or whatever. I was like, what? Or what did it come out? 2011? So 10 years ago.
When it first hit retail, I remember y'all remember Mike. Mike was playing it when it was like, I don't know, in beta, I guess. Like, and it was like
it's just crazy.
2010. And it's first released in 2009. And so imagine there's adults that played Minecraft as kids.
I know. That's what he was saying. I was like, I hate it. It's crazy. Anywho, achievement unlocked. Optimal carb experience. Meet the Xbox Series S toaster. This is from the description. It imprints the Xbox Sphere logo on your bread while it's heating it. Coming in at $39.99. How cool is this?
So we got the Series X fridge.
Yep.
The S
for
toaster.
Your cold
toaster.
And now your toaster for your hot stuff.
Correct.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm curious how they get the imprint to look on, because I modified a toaster before.
Of course you did. Of course you did.
To took it apart and the heating coil, I just twisted it and wrote words with it in cursive, and that's all you gotta do to get that. But then looking at that's just a simple word. So their logo, I'm like, that's impressive. I remember Parappa the Rapper had one back in the late 90s.
Parappa the Rapper. Yeah.
And then I've seen a Hello Kitty one. I've seen a lot of these over the years. I've seen Star Wars ones. I haven't taken any of these ones apart with a more detailed image to put on. I'm really curious how it achieves that.
Well, here are some of the reviews for the Xbox Series S toaster. 2 stars. Center of bread, not toasted. Tested 3 pieces of toast so far. No X on the toast, and in fact, the center of the toast still soft and untoasted. Raised level to 4. Edges toasted, but still not cooked in center. Disappointed.
Now I really want to take one apart.
Here's another one. 5. This is 5-star review. Well worth $40. My toast is instantly better now that it has an X on it. 5 out of 5 would recommend.
I made some really shoddy Texas toast the other day for breakfast. I just toasted some toast, buttered it, put some garlic powder on it, and I took some cheese. I took one of my butane lightsabers that I have that has the 7-inch flame, and it was just melting the cheese on it. Delicious. Delicious.
So I might get one of those. We'll see.
Yeah, when it goes on sale.
Yeah, right now they're being resold for higher than $40. People are buying them Walmart's $80 now. I'm like,
I would buy one for $40, but if I might have to fix it because apparently it can't toast. You do it's one thing.
Well, that was one of the negative reviews. There's a lot of other positive ones. Just full discretion. That was the funniest.
All right.
Yeah.
Wonder if the failure ratio is better than the Xbox 360s.
Did you guys hear about some of the insane DLC prices that have been making headlines? There's been a couple. One of them was Star Citizen. There's a ship DLC for $58,000. And then Apex, there was an event where there's these packs that cost around 1,000 Apex coins, so $10. And in order to unlock the one-winged angel death box, you have to unlock 36 items, all 36 items. So basically that means you have to pay $360 to unlock this death box, and people of course are lighting them up as they should. Have
you ever looked at how much all the Sims DLC costs?
All up,
it's
all
insane.
the little things, a $199 pet. How much is it?
It's in the 5 figures. It's definitely in the 5 figures. And then there's I forget what freaking train game it is on PC. It's one of the train simulators, and that thing it's like 6 figures to like go get all of the DLC, and it's fucking stupid.
Yeah,
and Star Citizen $58K to like get some. Look, that's like if you want to have some outrageous thing because the type of game that Star Citizen is, it's this giant like multi-world like multiplayer thing. And you want people to be able to flex because it's kind of like reminds me of EVE Online, and people will spend stupid amounts of money to do crap on EVE Online. But like Star Citizen isn't even done yet. The game has been in development for almost 12 years. And like the balls to like have a game that's technically not done and be like, oh yeah, you want that ship? It's $58,000. Like,
right. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I actually prefer. I like it. Almost seems memey to me as opposed to like the Apex one and even the Sims one, where it's like, no, they're like nickel and diming you, you know. And they're nickel and diming you and kind of like holding out this golden carrot of like, hey, you spend a little bit more, you can get this really, really cool thing. The 58,000, everyone just laughs at that. It's not even predatory. It's just like, yeah, no one's going to buy that except for like 2 people.
It reminds me of like, do you guys remember like, this would have been 2011, 2012. There was an app on the iPhone called like, I think it was like the I'm Rich app. And it was like thousands of dollars, and all it did was display a red ruby on your phone. That's all it did, and like you would just buy it to be like, yeah, I'm rich. I could spend this much on an app and not care.
That's fun.
This is like 58 of those apps, but like
yeah, there's always some of those apps that are just ridiculous. Xbox confirms it's banning Baldur's Gate 3 players for auto-uploading spicy clips. This happened a couple weeks ago, but some of you at home may or may not know in Baldur's Gate 3, you can do things in that game that are a little spicy, and it doesn't leave much to the imagination. However, you can, on your Xbox, you can say Xbox record that, you can capture a video clip, and when that gets uploaded, if you record a spicy clip, there's been people who've been getting their accounts banned because they've recorded spicy Baldur's Gate 3 clips, and Microsoft has confirmed, yes, we did ban you, and they suggested turning off the auto upload feature so that it doesn't happen again.
They did say they will also reverse it if you accidentally record it. Like I have so many accidentally recorded clips because my record is mapped to a hotkey on my D-pad. So like I just hit up on because I have the Elite controller, so my ABXY, my ABXY is on the bottom. So then my normal ABXY, I have that be the D-pad, and so then my D-pad, I have like record, start recording, stop recording, record the last 30 seconds, and then I don't remember what the other one is. So like I've accidentally like uploaded absolute nothingness because it's like I'm just playing and I accidentally touch it and like it's like blink blunk. I'm like, oh whatever, and I don't bother to delete it. But if I play Baldur's Gate 3, apparently if I accidentally do it at the right time.
Do you guys think it's like it? But it's so weird to me because they allow the game on the platform, they let you play it and everything. So it's just, it does seem.
Yes,
I don't feel any type of way about it, but it is seem weird that it's like, yeah, play any rated M for mature crazy game, whatever it has in it, all good. But then don't record it.
It's like you can play it, right? But anybody can see, anyone on your friends list can see those clips. So, like, you might have a minor on your friends list that wouldn't be able to buy or play Baldur's Gate 3. But if they just click through, it's like, oh, David uploaded a new clip. Click it, and they check what you uploaded, and it's like, what game is this, David?
It's a dwarf and a centaur going to town. What's going on?
I thought you said this was like Dungeons and Dragons, David. What kind of Dungeons and Dragons you playing?
This isn't Lego Fortnite. Yeah. That makes sense. That actually makes sense. I didn't actually think about that. Sony shows car being driven with PlayStation DualSense controller. This was kind of funny. It's like, why? CES 2024, the press conference, Sony took a chance to show off the company's future tech possibilities by driving a car onto the stage. And they did it with a PlayStation controller.
I mean, like, did you see the Gran Turismo movie?
Yeah, I like that movie.
He didn't play with the wheel. He played with the controller. And look how that transferred in. Look where that got him. Yeah, he's like one of the best race car drivers in the entire world.
No, but he had a wheel. He had a wheel controller.
Like, no. Like, the real story?
The real story, he didn't have a thing. He only did a controller.
I think eventually he might have got a wheel, but, like, when he started, working his way up, or, like, he plays with a controller. Raymond plays with a controller for his, like, Forza records. Like, and here's the thing. Sony is getting into the car industry. I forget what car manufacturer they're working with. I think it's Honda, that they're working on an EV together. So,
what if you're driving your car and your PlayStation controller gets stick drift? I
mean, David, have you ever driven like a shit box that has like a wheel that's like that already? Like, how many? Yeah. Think about every time you're
take your hands off the wheel and see where the car goes.
Yeah. Think about every single time you're driving around in that LA traffic by you, and every time you see a shit box, some stupid Honda Civic that's way too low and scraping, they probably got wheel drift. Like, let's be honest. Like.
Well, no, they're in traffic. They're not going fast enough to have any drift.
I'm saying that vehicle does. Right now, it's not affecting them. You're right, John. But, like, once they hit that freeway, provided it's not, during rush hour, it's, yeah. Wheel drift is definitely already a thing that we deal with. Ask me about how my accelerator got stuck in my Mitsubishi while I was on the freeway. That was fun. Almost dying.
There's some sick new hardware. Speaking of controllers, Hyperkin has released some cool stuff. They are re-releasing handheld Sega Genesis and an original Xbox controller S. The cool thing is they're officially licensed, the Xbox officially licensed to work with the Xbox Series X and S and Xbox One, Windows 10, 11. There's a share button built in, USB-C port, 35mm headset jack, and Hall effect joysticks and triggers, which will make them resistant to growing, inaccurate over time, speaking of stick drift. But it looks pretty cool. I just like this stuff. I like that they do this stuff. I saw they have a white controller, and it reminded me of I had an Xbox S controller, and I just spray painted the shell white, and I didn't have
no
a clear coat,
no
sanding, nothing. And I just because I just love the controller, and I wanted a white one, and you couldn't buy white ones, and so just took it apart and did it, and it got wore out. And anyways, this stuff is always so cool, and the handheld Sega Genesis looks actually really cool as well.
So I've had some Hyperkin consoles over the years. Their compatibility is hit and miss, right? Their build quality on their consoles is hit and miss. Allison's actually got their handheld Super Nintendo, and it's okay. So that I don't know how I feel about. I could go without Hyperkin doing that. Hyperkin has a reputation, more or less, for announcing clone consoles and then not releasing them. Like they announced a clone N64 5 years ago now. They announced a TurboGrafx 16 that never came out. They announced a Game Boy clone that also never came out. But they also do put out a lot of stuff. They do actually release a lot of products. And I have their Duke reissue, which feels amazing. It feels like an original Duke. I still have Duke controllers, and I have done side-by-side A/B testing, and it feels amazing. That's the one that has they have an OLED screen with the Xbox Splash screen. That's sick. Their Xbox 360 reissue feels amazing. Their Xbox 360 issue controller feels perfect. absolutely perfect. I have zero issues with that thing. So I do look forward to picking up their reissue of the series, not Series S, the S controller. So
yeah, it looks cool. It's just one of those things.
Are they going to make? I wonder if they're going to make the X button, which was just a decal before, make that like the actual guide button. I hope that would make sense, right?
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think I wonder what they'll do with the white and black button, right? Because it'll be
bumpers. It'll just be bumpers.
Are they going to get rid of the white and black button?
No, they showed the white and black buttons are on there.
Okay,
so I'm curious if it has white and black buttons and bumpers, because the original Xbox didn't have bumpers, right?
You said the two
and when you played Xbox original games on 360, the white and black buttons mapped to the bumpers, and so I want to say on the Duke controller reissue, it's been years since I've touched it. Actually, I just kind of put it on a shelf. I want to say it had bumpers and the white and black buttons, and they were mirrored to be the same. So
that makes sense.
They'll probably do the same thing.
Yeah, and the Duke does have the bumpers.
Yeah, so they're going to throw bumpers on the S controller also, and they're just going to be mirrored to the white and black buttons.
First Xbox Developer Direct 2024 tomorrow. Anything you guys are hoping to see from Xbox? There's rumors of an Indiana Jones announcement. Gameplay, that's kind of interesting.
I would be like, I didn't hear about that, but I would like to play another Indiana Jones game that's like the N64 one, where they made it play like the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. They copied Ocarina of Time's like control scheme, and it's like, hey, run around, solve puzzles, like while exploring. It's like, yeah, that's Indiana Jones.
Yeah, it's great. There's no shame in copying like the
something
controls.
That's amazing, like considered one of the greatest of all
time. Yeah, make it your own. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the Indiana Jones game on the original Xbox was really well received too, back in the day. Yeah, but that's probably what I'm looking forward to the most. Like, I really hope it's, third person, like cover based, more tactical combat, just with like type platforming. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
And I hope it's a younger Indiana Jones and not ancient Harrison Ford.
I'm hoping for the very last thing that they show to be a little 30-second teaser for a Gears game.
Gears?
I knew Gears would be nice. It's been like, what, 5 years since the last one?
Yeah. With Cliff at the helm.
Time.
John, this would be interesting for you. Magic the Gathering artist quit, and he said, quote, "You can't say you're against AI and then blatantly use it."
Yeah, I'm like so sick of AI. Like, specifically when it comes to art. Like, you just see, not to get political, but just like with like the election things happening, there's so many just like AI generated images of like this politician with this group of people and this and that. And it's like, you actually have to like look at them pretty closely if you're just like on your phone looking and see, oh yeah, that person has 6 fingers and blah 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 or whatever.
Sometimes they're really good, and like, think about, we have good eyesight, so we're relatively young. Like, think about like older people that don't have that, like, either the brain is melted a little bit, they don't have as much critical thinking, and or their eyesight's just not that bad or not that good anymore. And it's definitely a misinformation machine. It definitely can be used that way, 100%. So, especially like, think about if somebody that is capable with Photoshop and they make something, say they have 6 fingers, clean it up. That's all it takes, and you can really just generate some like really gnarly misinformation if you wanted to, which people do.
Yeah, I think specifically for Magic the Gathering, like the art is so important to the game, and is one of like, you know, a huge part of why it's even popular, you know, and like you know, going back throughout the years, like the artwork has always been like so cool and so awesome and unique to the cards. And like, you know, I would pick cards to put in a deck, not because they're the best card for the deck, but because like they fit a theme or looked like so cool. And I just like wanted to play it and like show whoever I was playing with, like, boom, look at this card. Like, it's so awesome, you know? So to see that they're doing AI stuff, it's just like, come on, like Wizards, like, what are you guys doing? Like, it's huge disappointment.
Yeah, they've been taking some L's these last few years, but it's just crazy to me. It's like a slap in the face to artists. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And the fact that they just tried to get away with it. Like they just ran it, they printed it, and the only reason they're walking back is because they got called out. If they didn't get called out, they're not apologizing. They're not saying anything. They're just letting it ride.
They would have done it more.
Yeah.
They would have done it more.
100%. The Consumer Electronics Show, we kind of touched on a little bit in Las Vegas is a couple weeks ago, but TCL announced a new TV, and this is relevant because, you know, we play video games on TVs. A new TV, but it's not just any TV. It's a 115-inch TV for $20,000. Technically, I think it's under $20,000. It's $19,999. Weighs 200 pounds. And people have noted that the picture quality seems impressive for a screen that size. The question is, what game are we playing on that first? 115 inches. How big is that? Hold on.
It's 115 inches, David.
Just under 10 feet.
How big is 115 inches? It's 115 inches? He's forgetting that they're measured diagonally, isn't he?
It's longer than my couch.
David, did you forget that they're measured diagonally?
Oh, yeah, right.
Good luck.
It would literally take up my whole wall. It would literally take up that entire wall.
You got to get it.
Oh, dude, I just cut myself.
Oh, God.
Ow, that hurt. All right, keep talking about the TV. 1 sec.
So, like, I mean, it's kind of crazy that there's actually more than one 115-inch TV that's hitting the market right now. Because, like, there's the TCL one, then there's one that, like, Linus from Linus Tech Tips got from China, and then, yeah, there's a couple of them. And it's like, are we really reaching this point? Because, like, I was looking at, like, my 70-inch TV. I'm like, yeah, this is pretty damn big. I don't think I could get any bigger on, like, my wall with my entertainment center before, you know. So
yeah, I have a 75-inch, but, like, and it's a Samsung. But it was only at like Costco. I want to say it was, gosh,
you can get them now for like $700. Like,
yeah, I want to say it was like maybe in the 8 something.
Yeah,
like that.
I paid like 800 something for mine. And,
okay, so that's what I was thinking. So from 75 to 115, that's only like a 30, 40 inches.
So the reason it's going to cost that much more, though, is because when they make the liquid crystal displays, because like Sony a few years ago, I remember
$19,000 more.
Yeah, so like I remember Sony had announced like a 100 something inch screen. I think it was like 110, and this one I still like sold TVs for a living. And going from like the 85 to like the 110 was like thousands of dollars more. And when I asked someone from Sony what the hell is up with that, they explained that like they make the LCD screen, like the actual LCDs, like in one big long continuous unit, and it gets cut up into all of the different size screens, and that's how come the screens are systematically at different sizes, so it divides up evenly, so they get to make the optimal use out of the giant liquid crystal display that they buy. So when you get something like 115 inches or 110 inches or wherever the heck it is, you have a lot that like it doesn't divide up evenly, and so they pass those costs on to you. You are buying waste. You are buying all the screen that you aren't getting, and they aren't able to use anymore to make your size. Yeah. Is that why this is $20,000? I don't know. I just know from my experience dealing with giant TVs that are roughly the size and why they cost that much more when you can get like an 85 inch for like, $4,000. Yeah. So
it says it has 20,000 dimming zones and an ultra processor that aims to offer huge yet pristine images. Mini LED.
I would honestly probably hate this in my house. I would absolutely like.
It's 200 pounds.
I was telling John. Well, but that's nothing. I used to have a 50-inch plasma, and that was like 200 pounds. So, David, you play Smash. Don't talk about think about how much a CRT weighs.
Yeah. I don't want to get back to that though. I want to get away from that. I like a light TV.
It's when it's that big. Like, I hate playing on screens. Like, I don't like playing video games on my screen nearly as much as I did when I was like a 40-inch. Because my eyes have to move around too much, especially when you play FPS.
Yeah, that's for like movies and sports. 115 inches, movies and sports. That's it.
And that's why I got a bigger screen. I was like, I want to watch more movies, and so I did that, and with 115 inches, that's going to be dedicated strictly to movies.
Yeah.
I play enough retro games that I would be wasting so much space because I would be cropping it down to 4:3.
Yeah.
There's been a lot of rumors this week. The Haloverse has been blown up because the rumors of Halo Infinite's Battle Royale has been shelved. Codename Tatanka, the Battle Royale mode was reportedly in development at support studio Certain Affinity, although neither Microsoft nor 343 ever commented on it publicly. There was a lot of hints, and people from Certain Affinity had said they were working on something big that's never been done before in Halo, blah, 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 blah. And so, there's some rumors going around on some different podcasts and insiders saying that has now been shelved. And there's a lot of confusion because some people are like, oh, there's no more Halo, but not to be confused with the Halo game that is still in production, which is the next Halo Infinite. And so what's probably going to happen is this is going to be shelved for another time, or it's kind of rolling into the new Halo experience. We talked about it, I think maybe it was early December, but they said that 343 said, we're looking ahead at what's next for Halo. And so all Halo games have not stopped, just this specific one that they were working on, apparently, a rumor, has been shelved.
I could see them rolling it into Halo 7. Rolling it into Halo 7. Enough people said that they wish there was a BR in Infinite. And so I feel like rather than trying to, especially because didn't Certain Affinity say this was using a different engine than Infinite?
They're going back to Unreal.
It would be weird to tack it on to Halo Infinite,
right?
And then to release it as a standalone multiplayer experience would also be weird because then they'd be competing with themselves, and so it makes the most sense to apply it and add it on to Halo 7.
Yeah,
that would make the most sense to me personally. I don't know why they're going to cancel it. I don't know what the reasoning is. But
yeah, I'm on 343, 343's job openings right now, looking at them because I just really want to like work there just so I can see what is happening at that studio. It is just crazy to me.
Yeah,
they're hiring for a multiplayer playlist designer. I could probably do that.
Yeah,
I'm looking for a new job.
And a lead game designer, audio director.
I applied at 343 a couple years ago. I forgot about that. Like I literally actually applied at 343.
Lead game systems designer.
What's that, David?
Yeah, you could give us the inside scoop.
I mean, probably not if I wanted to keep my job. But like,
No, I would want to just go learn everything and then put in my 2 weeks and go back to working in countertops.
Like, I could see myself working there again, like applying there again. Yeah, I'll check it out. I don't know, like I'm literally open for work right now, so I'm looking for.
Dude,
I was applying for roles literally earlier.
Speaking of Halo, I've since the beginning of
January.
Same with
Valve. I want to go get a job at Valve and figure out what's going on there too.
Well, that one is like more of like just to see what they're doing, what they're up to. Whereas 343 is a dumpster.
So Valve doesn't work in their own building. They work in like a big building, and I know someone that works above them.
Ooh.
I can get you in there, John, and you can go like Solid Snake style.
Splinter Cell.
Sneak in there.
Dude, so speaking of 343 and Halo, since the beginning of January, I've been running a Halo tournament, and I've been asking my community, okay, we're going to run a bracket, and we're going to see which Halo is like the best, and everyone vote. And so I created a bracket. I seeded it properly. And I mean, I seeded it pretty well. And the votes started coming in, I was doing one at a time. So like, Halo Wars 2 versus Halo 5, right? Okay, everyone vote. You have 24 hours. Let's tally the votes. Halo CE versus Halo Spartan Strike. I took every single Halo like experience, right? Tell me why. This is so crazy. First of all, Halo Infinite beat out Halo CE by like a landslide. Devastating for me personally, but I have to respect the results. And it's very revealing to me of like my audience, like the people on my channel and what they like, because that's crazy to me. So 73% Halo Infinite beat out Halo CE. With 418 votes. Halo CE only got 27%. But then the truly shocking, like I kind of get it, but I'm like, I don't. It's 12 hours in. Halo MCC is beating out Halo 3. And right now the vote stands at
MCC?
Yes, MCC is beating out Halo 3 68% to 32%.
I could see why, Dave.
I could see, but also I'm just like, what?
Unless you had like the original experience, if you're not attached to that original experience, then you're like, well, this has Halo 3 and everything else.
I know.
And it has all the other Halo games, and it has Halo 3 ODST. So
of course it's better.
Why would I pick French fries when I can have the Big Mac and French fries? Like,
I'm like, I thought I had like old people on my channel who would be like, no, I projected Halo 3 to like win it all. Like, I just figured like most people, Halo 3 is everything. And someone actually commented and said, Halo 3 works pretty consistently. I get regular DCs in MCC though to this day. Which I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's just, I was surprised. That's all.
I would say, honestly, out of all the games that are on MCC, Halo 3, from my personal experiences, this is all anecdotal, it is the most consistent and least screwed up out of like the games on MCC. Like, which is funny because it was supposed to be like, you know, an anniversary for Halo 2 and it's kind of janked. But like Halo 3 looks like Halo 3 and all the weird stuff from Halo 3 is in Halo 3 on MCC. And so like file share still there. And we were able to like transfer our Halo 3 file share stuff to MCC. You can't do it anymore, but like if you set it up, if you know, they had this capability to do that at one point. And so it's like, I don't know.
Yeah.
To me, like MCC is the winner there. Like if it was Halo MCC versus Halo 1 or 2 or even Halo 4, maybe not, but like as from Halo 3 on MCC is probably like the best version of it. It's so
it's, you know, I just wanted better for my YouTube channel, but it's okay. I'm gonna respect the results of the tournament. Well, one more thing, which I know we're all passionate about. This is actually so crazy. A Ubisoft exec says gamers need to get comfortable with, quote, not owning your games. The director of subscriptions, Philip Tremblay, recently spoke to GameIndustry.biz about the digital future and Ubisoft Plus specifically. Tremblay stated that people eventually got comfortable with not owning their CD or DVD collections, and that a similar shift in attitude needs to happen in gamers. And right on the heels of this, UK's biggest video game retailer, Game, they ended trade-ins for physical games. And what do you guys think of that? That's a crazy thing to say, that they need a similar shift in attitude needs to happen in gamers.
And this is right off the heels of like Best Buy stopping DVD sales.
Yeah.
So obviously, like I hate this, all right? Like, and not just as a collector because I've toned down my game collecting, but just from the matter of, you know, the fact of the matter, right? Like, I don't want to pay for licenses. I absolutely detest the concept of paying for a license that can be revoked. I don't like the idea of not owning something. If buying something isn't owning it, then piracy isn't stealing, as far as I'm concerned, right? Like, if it's not mine, then what does it matter if I pay to have it or not? It doesn't matter to me. I'm going to pirate the fuck out of every single Ubisoft game I can, right? Like,
yeah.
And like, and every single time I see them talk about like piracy, they talk about like, oh, it's projected to be this much of a loss. It's not a loss. It was never going to be a sale to begin with. So like, you know, it's but you know, we reap what we sow. This all roots back to like live service games are like one of the biggest, you know, reasons for this shit happening. And
we keep accepting it. That's the thing. Like, this is what we've wanted. Consumers have created this.
We're frogs being boiled, dude.
Right.
And that's it. We reap what we sow. So we have live service games to thank for this shit. We have microtransactions. We have loot boxes to thank for this shit. We have freaking horse armor DLC to thank for this shit. And it's all because of that. And and they just slowly nickel and dimed us, right? We started paying for DLC that we already had technically downloaded because it was on the damn disc that we bought. So that's how far back this goes. This goes back. I remember the first time it happening was in 2009 when like Capcom had games where the DLC was on the damn disc and you were just buying a license to unlock the damn thing. And so, and he's right in with the fact that like, oh, we just need to like get consumers used to this. And so it's gonna be a slow thing and people go, oh yes, please. Yes, please. We want to own fucking nothing. And keep paying for absolutely nothing. No, hell no, dude. It's like I said. He said the quiet part out loud, and it's absolutely insane. Yeah. And I didn't mean to be so vulgar there, but like obviously it's
all right. We can cut it. We can. I mean, bleep it. John.
Yeah. No, I think it's crazy, and I think it's just a very here and now like mindset of like, how can I be profitable right now today, and not thinking about the consequences in the future. I saw just recently, I think it was just at the end of December, China implemented some new restrictions on games and spending money in games.
Yeah, I saw that.
And so they banned giving rewards for spending money in the game for the first time. Like your first purchase, you get like a bonus, whatever. They banned rewards for buying like consecutive transactions. So like buy 3 and get this 4th one, whatever. And then they also banned rewards for daily logins. And so you don't, log in every day and you get your bonus XP or, whatever. And so like, man, I've never really wanted, China's influence in anywhere else except for like right now in video games. Like, yes, get rid of all of this crap. Let us buy the game and own it. And like, it feels like there needs to be like another like video game crash, and for the publishers to like just come back down to earth and just realize like, no, we're not gonna stand for it.
Yeah. Is there any I don't know. Is there any way for these, when we get there, for discs to carry more data so that can be reality? Because I do understand like, like the live service game stuff. I'm not against live service games, but it's like, if you want to keep updating a game, you know what I mean?
Do you know how much a Blu-ray can hold?
I know, but I'm saying like over time.
What live service game has exceeded 400 gigabytes?
Well, I don't know.
Which is what a Blu-ray can hold.
No, but I'm saying like take Fortnite for instance. Like at what point? I don't know. It just gets kind of messy because it's like, say we like if we get the world we want, where like we buy the game, we own it. But how does that really work for live service games?
I think live service games are one of the worst things that ever happened. Full stop. Like, there's some great experiences out there, but like, look what's happened. It's one of the worst things that ever happened in the entire industry.
Yeah, I was just curious about Halo 3. And for what I can see is they had 2 title updates. 2.
Like these sort of things existed before the internet was fully there in the PC gaming world. Like, you could buy expansion packs. Expansion packs are just physical DLC. That's all they were. You would buy an expansion pack and you would install it onto the hard drive.
Yeah, that's what deal. Brood War.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Halo, Doom 3, then they had Doom 3 Resurrection. But
I think it's
nothing new.
Yeah, I think it comes down to, the expectation back in the day was that the games were complete and finished. And so you could release StarCraft and you knew you were getting a complete game, and the game worked and there wasn't a ton of issues, and the Blizzard wasn't counting on being able to patch it day one and do all of that, And so like when Brood War came out, they updated the game and it was an expansion, new missions, units, whatever. And it was just like, that's it. It's done. It's a done deal.
Think about how much Halo 2 or 3 got updated over its lifespan, right? A handful of times. And then what it is now is that we have ADD-riddled brains where we want an update every other week. And it's because live service has provided that for us. Right. And so it's like, that creates it's a compounding effect.
Did you guys see what happened with Call of Duty today?
No.
Dude, it was like tweaking out, right?
they issued an update and were adding nukes to Warzone, and the game was just completely they nuked the game, basically.
Yeah, they broke it.
The menus were all just flashing and buzzing and going crazy. If you tried to buy your loadout, it would just log you out. Like all kinds of like crazy stuff in game, out of game. Just it was insane. And it's like, what are we doing? This is crazy.
You paid $70 for that. For that.
So besides the fact that games are broken all the time now because of the ability to do live patching, when it comes to actual like live service shit, what ends up happening is that like they're cranking out so much content that it's not quality content anymore. It's because we demand rapid paced amounts of content. We always want fresh updates rather than letting the developers make a good game. So they're always in a constant state of crunch. Crunch is absolutely like ridiculous in the industry.
See, I wonder though, I don't know that it's the gamers that want the constant updates. I think it's the shareholders that want the constant updates to keep the revenue going.
Oh, it's definitely both. It's definitely both. Like, just look at any like really popular live service game and look at Twitter. And look at like Reddit and see how much they're just frothing at the mouth for more content because they already gobbled it all up. Look what happened with Halo Infinite.
With battle passes and things like that. Yeah.
Not just battle passes, but just like
they'll complete them in like a couple weeks and then be like, all right, like what's next? Like give me something to do. You know.
Yeah, that's Osmongold with
that's just
Diablo.
One example.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Yeah, my biggest thing is just the fact that they're like taking a piss at us and taking our money and not actually letting us own a product that is ours. And it's just like, it's a slap in the face to consumers to say, you guys are so dumb that we're going to take your money. You're going to buy a game. You're not going to be able to play it whenever you want. We're going to decide when you can play it and when you can't play it. And if your internet goes out, well, screw you. If we decide to just not let you play it anymore, screw you. You gave us your money. Doesn't matter. Like the thought of that being a reality, I can't do it. Game Pass for me is just a fun subscription. I understand and recognize I don't own anything. This is just like paying a cell phone bill. Like it's just I'm using the service. It has nothing. But like when I buy a movie, I want to watch that movie whenever I want and at any time.
And not be reliant on who has the freaking licensing rights to it.
I don't want to pop up that says you can't do this anymore. You can't do this. This movie has been sold and you don't have the rights. I don't like that world. I refuse to live in it. I won't live in it. I'll take my whole house offline.
I put my foot down on it, dude. I don't pay for a damn single streaming service anymore. None. Yeah. There's zero.
Good on you.
I check with Rocket Money.
Yeah.
As soon as I started seeing like DVD players, Blu-ray players with like Ethernet ports and Wi-Fi and stuff, I was just like, Lord, here we go.
Dude, I remember Blu-ray. I remember when I worked at Best Buy, people like when they got Avatar, when Avatar came out, like it's not working on my Blu-ray player. I'm like, you gotta do a firmware update. And it's like if you're gonna do a firmware, and they can't do a firmware update because there's no like. They can't put the firmware update on a disc because it's not like a universal platform necessarily, and so it's just insane. I'm all for being able to download software and download and access it, but I need to be able to back it up myself, right? Because I understand that the server might not be up forever, so there better not be any damn DRM on this on it, right? So I should be able to copy my game onto a external hard drive to back it up for whenever your service is no longer available, right?
Yeah.
Which I have a lot of PC games that are like that. And Steam had I don't know if Valve is still holding himself to it, but they had made a statement before that if Valve goes out of business, we're going to remove all the DRM from all the games in your library. So you could just have one last hurrah, download it all, and
that's cool.
You'll be able to play it without having to log into Steam and stuff, which is how it should be. And that's the proper way to do it. Like, it's less about like subscription services, and part of it when it comes to gaming software is DRM. That's one big piece of it. Like, I should be able to download it, back it up, and then if your service is gone, I should still be able to boot this thing up and load it and play it.
You paid for it. You paid full price for it, and that's like the agreement. And yeah, it'll be interesting days ahead. I think it could potentially just happen regardless, and
it's going to happen because so many people are not aware of what's happening until it's going to be too late. Just like so many people got upset about Sony and like last month or whatever because they announced that they're going to be removing some people's stuff that they had paid for because now Discovery had it. And like Amazon did that to me 10 years ago, dude.
Yeah.
And my Sony copy of Sony Vegas Video, I bought it, a physical copy, and I had a legit license. But when I went to go install it on a computer a couple of years after the fact, they were like, "Oh, this software is too old. You have to buy a new one."
Yeah.
And it's the software's here, so I just downloaded a piracy patch. Screw them.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, interesting days. Well, that's it. It's good to be back. Well,
cool.
GG's, everybody.
GG's.
GG.
GG's.